The Poco F7 is the cheapest phone right now with the Snapdragon 8s Gen 4 chip. This is a very powerful chip, and at least on paper, it makes this phone the most powerful phone under 30,000 rupees. So in this video, we'll run some benchmarks and play some games to analyze the performance of the Poco F7. Now without any further ado, let's get started. Starting with the benchmarks, in Geekbench 6 compared to the Snapdragon 8s Gen 3 in last year's Poco F6, there is a substantial improvement in multi-core score because it uses all performance cores rather than a mix of performance and efficiency cores. Even the AI performance has improved significantly. Even in 3D Mark, we can see a massive improvement in both Wildlife Extreme score as well as Solar Bay, which is the ray tracing test. And again in N22, we can see a big increase in the overall score as well as the storage speed. These scores put the Snapdragon 8s Gen 4 very close to last year's flagship Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. Even in stress tests, the Poco F7 performed quite well. It maintained over 80% stability in both scenarios, though I must say that during these stress tests, the internal temperature went to around 50 degrees Celsius. Now let's start the gaming test. First is BGMI or PUBG. Currently, we get to play it at 90 FPS with smooth graphics. I'm pretty sure that it will be updated to support 120 FPS given the power of this chip. Anyways, I played this game for close to 15 minutes and the experience was pretty much flawless. As you can see, the average frame rate is almost 90 FPS and the temperature barely reaches 34 degrees Celsius. Next is Call of Duty Mobile. Here we get to play at medium graphics and 120 FPS, which is great. Here I played 3 rounds of Frontline, and in all the rounds, the frame rate was pretty much locked at 120 FPS. Even the maximum temperature after 3 rounds was barely 35 degrees Celsius. Next is Asphalt Legends Unite. Here we get the option to play at 90 FPS with maxed out graphics. But for some reason, this phone is limiting the game to only 60 FPS. I tried to tweak some settings to enable 90 FPS, but it didn't work. This is a problem I also encountered with some Samsung phones. Please do let me know if there is a workaround. Anyways, the gameplay at 60 FPS is very smooth and responsive. The drops that you can see in the frame rate chart are during the loading screens and not the actual gameplay. This game barely stresses the Poco F7 as the maximum temperature is only 34 degrees Celsius. Now let's test some heavier console grade games. Starting with Genshin Impact, we have set it to the highest graphics. However, this phone supports game frame interpolation with this game, and so we can actually play it at 120 FPS, which is awesome. I played it for close to 15 minutes and it played really well. I didn't notice any lags or stutters. You can see that the average frame rate is 117, which is extremely impressive for such a demanding game. And while the phone did get warm, the maximum temperature of 41 degrees Celsius is certainly manageable. Next is CarX Street, which is again a console grade game, and so I'm playing it with the controller. Again, we have maxed out all the graphics. This is an open world racing game with very realistic lighting, reflections and shadows, and still, this phone is handling this game like a champ. As you can see, the average frame rate is very close to 60 FPS, and the temperature also didn't exceed 40 degrees Celsius even after playing it for nearly 15 minutes. So I'm definitely very impressed. Last but not the least, we have Wuthering Waves, which is one of the most demanding games on Android. Again, we are playing it at the highest graphics. Here the frame rate does fluctuate a bit, but it never feels unplayable. The average frame rate is still around 55 FPS, which is very good for a game of this caliber. And the temperature at 40 degrees Celsius is also very reasonable. Okay, so to conclude, this Poco F7 is a very capable phone with excellent performance, And with a massive display and battery, along with such good performance, this is definitely one of the best gaming phones in its price range. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. Please like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel down below. Thanks for watching.